truth don't hide, it just waits for a face, Big footprints in a pine-slick path, Bob Lazar files with a government laugh. Court dates lost in a sea of red tape. We ain't 10-4, we just stay awake. True crime tales in a borrowed voice. We speak for the silence, not by choice. Got boots on the dirt and eyes on the skies, digging up stories they hoped would die. Might, truth, and thunder, we don't back down. With a Bible in the glove box and boots on the ground. Aliens, lies, and backroom deals. We break that silence, 'cause the soul feels real. Military broadcast, midnight run, teaching vets how to speak what the war's done. From trigger pulls to microphone stands, from combat zones to healing hands. Public records, missing names, unsealed files, classified games. We chase what's buried, not what trends, and we pray for light at the truth's deep end. Might, truth, and thunder, we don't back down. With a Bible in the glove box and boots on the ground. Aliens, lies, and backroom deals. We break that silence, 'cause the soul feels real. Some chase fame, we chase the facts. Some fold quick, we read the tracks. It ain't paranoia if it's always been there, and we ain't scared to lay it bare. Into the storm. We ain't perfect, but we were made for this form.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Into the Weeds podcast here on Military Broadcast Radio. I'm Amber.
I'm Alaura.
Sorry about
put
that.
On blast and accident.
Okay, so I hope everybody's been having a good week. I have not. I went to St. Louis on Monday, and we ate by 5 o'clock that night, and by 2 that morning, I was super, super sick. Now, I've been hearing that there's this flu thing going on. I don't know if I had 2 rounds of it or if I got
severely poisoned by Gordon Ramsay himself.
Yes. Yeah, I wasn't going to say the restaurant, but it's all good. So, yeah, so my week has been really bad. I've been shooting glasses of Pedialyte today, and by 11 o'clock this morning, I felt like I had been awake for probably 60 hours. This day has gone by so slow.
I get it. Yeah, totally. I'm just terribly hungover. So,
oh, yeah, you went to that burlesque show.
I went to a burlesque show. Well, I wasn't going to tell everybody where I went. No, I'm just playing. It's all good.
My bad.
I got to, never mind. I'm not going to tell y'all what I saw, but it was fun.
Okay. Well, today we have our guest, Zia Huck, who is a part of MBR, and he's been floating in there for, I want to say, about a year. I can't remember exactly, but he's just one of those guys that just kind of hangs around, and he's there, but you don't really know, everything about him because he seems to be an extremely interesting guy. And I've been wanting to bring him on, but I wasn't sure how to incorporate it, because sometimes I'm bad at incorporating things. So
it's a learning process.
Yes.
Plus, we were pretty busy there for a couple months. So.
Yeah, we really were.
Things have slowed down a lot, though, around here.
Yeah, and I know I've got a bunch of files to look through. I just haven't had the gumption or the energy to go through any of those files. None that haven't already been released.
Plus, too much is already going on in general, and so we kind of step back a little bit. We'll talk about it when it's necessary, but I feel like all of us are kind of running out of things to say in the gypsy verse.
We're running out of steam, not because there's not stuff to talk about. I mean, there's lots of stuff in those documents, but I
don't feel like talking about what Ryan's doing or Gypsy shaking her ass in a video.
Yeah, I don't
really
either
care.
Me either. Although I will say that too bad the Rolling Stone article was canceled because it was all about the dancing videos and the Gypstein files and stuff like that.
Which is ridiculous that she is just redoing the videos and laughing about it and doing cameos for 16-year-olds.
It's basically like she's playing in our face, like, hey, I was doing this before. I'm going to continue to do it. So, it sucks, but whatever. So anyways, we're going to get back to the show at hand. And Zia is from Pakistan. Actually, let me pull up his biography real quick. Zia Huq is a U.S. Army veteran, entrepreneur, and fellow member of MBR, Military Broadcast Radio. He was born in Lahore, Pakistan, and immigrated to the United States as a child. He later joined the U.S. Army and served from 2000 to 2007 in military public affairs, including deployments to Afghanistan. And today he's the founder of the Black Hawk Broadcast Network and brings a really interesting perspective shaped by immigration, military service, and entrepreneurship. And he was also, I believe, running around with teams of news cameras and things like that, if I'm not mistaken. So we're going to bring Zia up now.
The interview of the week is brought to you by Jersey Mike's, a sub above.
Hello, Zia, and welcome to Into the Weeds podcast. How are you doing today?
Doing good. Howdy from Texas.
Yes. Hello. Yeah, you are in the Lone Star State, huh?
That's right.
Yeah, I grew up in Oklahoma, an hour north of Wichita Falls.
Not far from here.
Yeah. Okay. So Zia, you were born in Pakistan. Can you kind of tell us about your life and what it was like there in Pakistan?
Yeah. So I was born there in one of the most colorful cities in Pakistan. It's known for its rich culture and music and all that.
Okay.
Then I lived there until I was seven.
Okay.
And life there was nice. We were kind of well off over there. It doesn't translate like that over here.
Yeah.
And we were always, the three of us siblings were in like a British private school there. And the reason we moved here is because there was a lot of political unrest there and a lot of riots. School was majority of the time, more than half the time, school was out rioting and chaos. And so my father, who was a U.S. citizen, he had gone to school here for college, so he became a citizen. He said, why don't we just move the family to America where the kids can actually get an education? Because if they're out of school half the time and we're paying for it, what's the point?
Yeah.
So then we moved here.
Okay. So why was there so much unrest?
There's a lot of corruption in Pakistan, but also in many countries around the world. We see it now. We even see some corruption here in America, and so that corruption there was translating into basically two political parties literally fighting it out, not with just words, but sticks and stones.
Okay. Yeah. Hopefully, it never gets to that here.
Getting close.
Yeah. Unfortunately,
it's not fun. I mean, I remember at the age of 5 or 6, and vividly remember my mom driving us to school, and we're driving past like a burning school bus, and you can feel the heat of the fire through the closed glass. Like that's a lot of heat for, you to be able to feel it in the car as you're driving by.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So that's like etched in my brain.
I bet. Yeah. So moving over here to the US at 7, what was that like?
It was very difficult because when I moved here, we moved to Jersey. We were in Nutley, New Jersey, and I did not know any English. I only knew a little bit of English, like, hi, hello, will you be my buddy? Like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And they paired me up with like the only other like brown girl there. It was an Indian girl, and they paired me up with her in the second grade. So I can only imagine how embarrassing it was for her. Like this, like fresh off the boat boy is now put in every single class that I'm with, and he has to sit with me in every single class. And not just that, but because I can't speak English, I even have to be with her like at lunch and things like that. So
Oh, wow.
I remember it being so embarrassing for this girl, but I also had no option. I had no choice. They put me in this situation, and that's the only way they knew how to handle something like this, because aside from the two of us, I don't remember there being anybody else that was like that was not white.
Uh-huh.
And so obviously everybody spoke English. Nobody spoke Urdu or Hindi and any of these other languages.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So I've seen situations like that that you're talking about. So I understand. So when did you learn English well enough to communicate?
It just took me a few months.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was quite easy actually. So I learned English within the year, and then third grade was much easier. Although I was still in like ESL, English as a second language classes, which is more for like reading and all that.
Yeah.
So and I was in there for like 2-3 years as well. Um, but I mean, I did my job in the army was journalism, public affairs, media relations. So definitely, I did something right, I guess.
You've
Learned
had
enough.
a gift of gab since you were a kid, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Okay. So let me get back to my notes. Okay. So joining the military, what inspired you to actually go into the US military, especially being from Pakistan?
Well, I think my father always raised me that you should be prideful of where you come from, but ultimately you should have your allegiance to the land you live in.
Mm.
And so I'm extremely patriotic. I've always been this way. I mean, I love America. Obviously, America is a man-made product, so there are flaws.
Yeah.
But despite all the flaws, I wouldn't want to live in any other country in the world, even if I'm living on a beach in Puerto Rico, right?
Yeah.
Well, although that is America, but you know what I mean.
I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
Shout out to Bad Bunny.
See,
So, but I mean, yeah. So that's why I wanted to join the military because of patriotism, but also my uncle, he was a merchant marine in Pakistan. Another one of my uncles was in the army, and so they did teach me this like military patriotism,
Mhm.
but it wasn't like specific to one country or another. Just like the camaraderie and the skills and training you get from being in the military.
Mhm. So what does your recruiter situation look like? Because like me, I was beaten down the door to get in. Were you ready? I mean, were you doing it straight out of high school or?
So it's a funny story. I actually did it after 1 year of college, and it was at Texas A&M. And
Mhm.
so, but at the time, I mean, I'll tell you the story and I'll tell you why. So I walk into the Marine office first because all the branches were right next to each other in the same shopping center. So I walk into the Marines first because I was like, oh, I want to go to the baddest branch
Yeah.
there is. And so I walk in there and I'm standing there, I'm looking at their flyers. There's two Marines sitting at desks and they look up at me and they keep working. And I'm like, okay, they're busy. So I'm looking at these pamphlets and looking around the office, and still, I think minutes have gone by and not a single one of them acknowledged me,
Yeah.
Really?
didn't say anything. So then I just slowly after a few minutes, I put the pamphlet down and I walked out and I walked right into the Army office because that was
Yeah.
my list was like Marines first, then Army, then Air Force, and probably never Navy because I'm like I'm 6 feet tall and I'm gonna hit my head on like I don't know what they call it, a porthole or something like
Yeah.
when you're walking through. I'm like, I'm not doing that. And I was like, I'm not sure if I'm claustrophobic, but I don't want to find out after I've signed a
Right.
contract. So I went to the Army. In the Army, Army guys did a mock ASVAB test. They did like a physical fitness test. It was like on the weekends they would get together and all the recruits would come out.
Yeah.
So I did all that. Then they took me to MEPS. here in Houston. And I took my ASVAB test, and then all of a sudden, like somebody in uniform comes and they're like, "Hey, the commander wants to see you." And I'm like, "Oh my God. Like, did I already ruin something? Did I mess it up?" And so I go up all the way to this office that's like elegantly like wood ordained. It looked like an Oval Office basically to me, right? At the age of, I think it was 20.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, "Hey, I can't let you do the job that you want." And I'm like, "Why not?" He's like, "Listen, you almost scored like perfect score on your ASVAB test, and you want to be a truck driver, like 88 Mike in the Army." And he's like, "Why do you want to be 88 Mike?" I was like, "Because it's got the shortest schooling. So then I'll get out of there and then I'll start doing like my bachelor's and this and that and all that." He goes, "Listen, you can't do that. You're going to be bored and you're going to leave. So here's some jobs that I want to recommend to you, and you let me know which one you want, and I'll give you whatever you want." So he's like, he said military intelligence, nuclear subtech, and Chinese linguist. So he's like, "What do you think about these?" And I said, "Well," I was like, "the nuclear subtech, like I want to have kids someday, so I don't need any special powers, so I don't want to do anything with nukes."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Chinese linguist, I'm not gonna learn the hardest language in the world. Like, I don't care how much you pay me, but definitely Army's not gonna pay me enough to learn
Right.
that." It would take 3 years, he said, for me to do a 3-year AIT. Forget that.
Yeah.
Then he's like, military intelligence. I was like, "No way, I'm not doing that. Like, I find out something you don't want me to know, and that's one less brown boy in the world."
Right.
And I'm only 20, so I don't know what military intelligence is now. Looking back, I'm like, man, I should have done that.
Yeah.
'Cause
Right.
I served with those guys in Afghanistan.
Mhm.
So then he said, "Listen, after talking with you, I think you would probably be perfect for public affairs." So I said, tell me about it." And he explained it to me, and I was like, that's what I want to do. And so I did public affairs, media relations, print journalism. That was my job.
Awesome.
Oh,
Okay. So what was basic training like for you?
Basic training I thought was very easy. I was 6 feet tall, 115 pounds. By the way, that's why the Marines didn't pick me.
Yeah.
Also, I forgot to mention that after I took my ASVAB, I got home and I hear a knocking on the door. And it was the 2 Marines that didn't say hi to me. And they were like, "Hey, we just got your ASVAB scores and we want to offer you any job in the Marines." And I said, "I'm sorry, buddy. I'm all the way Army now. You guys missed your opportunity."
yeah, they're gonna be assholes to you and not even pay attention. It's surprising because I know quite a few Marine recruiters and they're like very active. Like they take very active roles, at least where
Yeah, but
I
if
was
you
I
if
look
they
anorexic. Like I
yeah,
was 6 feet tall, 115 pounds. Like I look back at my pictures and I'm like, was I on drugs? Like what was going on with me? Like I was just naturally skinny. That's all it was.
yeah, and the Marines and the Air Force are notoriously hard to get in, like an actual, going in.
I don't know.
So-
I know some
Well,
special characters.
yeah, I mean,
Into the
there's
Marines.
definitely
Aren't all Marines special characters?
I don't
yeah.
have one normal friend that joined the Marines, that's for sure.
No, you did
disrespect.
not.
I still love them with my whole heart, but
And they probably are the weirdest Marines I've ever met, or the
that's
ones
for
that I've
damn sure. For damn sure, but that's okay.
yeah. So okay. So where did you go to basic at?
Relax in Jackson.
Oh, me too. When were you there?
Relax in Jackson.
To like 2001 summer.
Okay.
Right
My
before
husband and I were
9/11.
okay. My husband and I were both there in '99. So
Okay, yeah. Close. Close.
yep. We were at Relax in Jackson as well, but we both got hurt. Hey Millennial, I didn't see you in here. Yeah, so both of us got hurt. We got put in the broke platoon. He eventually got out of the broke platoon, but I broke my back in 3 places, so there was no coming
my
out of it.
gosh. Yeah, there's no recovering from that.
Yeah. So, yeah,
But it
yeah.
was easy. I thought boot camp was easy. That was your question earlier.
Yeah.
Because I was so light that there was just, I mean, I could run for days. These obstacle courses weren't a problem. And then I was the generation that started with Atari. So even like shooting, I was amazing. I got an expert on everything.
Mhm.
And they even joked around and they were like, "Oh, you must be a terrorist or something because how do you know already how to shoot? And you say you never picked up a gun." I had never shot until I got to boot camp. Yeah. And so So then I told them, I said to my drill sergeant, I was like, listen, if I was a terrorist, what have you taught me? I was like, if I'm already shooting better than everybody here, I'm already doing the obstacle course better than everybody, and I'm the only one when they do the CS gas, riot gas, and I'm the only one donning my mask, then what are you teaching me? So, I'm definitely a little bit of an asshole.
Hey, it's all right.
Can we curse? I think I just cursed.
No, you're good.
All the best people are, and I curse
All
more
the
than
time.
she would appreciate it.
I was actually going to ask you, so did you ever feel like you had to prove yourself because of who you are and where you're from?
Every single day of my life, especially when I was in Afghanistan, especially
I bet.
because it's a Muslim majority country and I'm a Muslim. And I felt like I was always having to just do as good or as hard as I go as hard as I can just to prove myself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Especially in that time period being in there. It was right before 9/11 and right after 9/11. And I mean, obviously I was like a baby. I was just a wee little child. But in retrospect, I can definitely see a lot of the racism and Islamophobia that was happening, especially at that time. And it's kind of unfortunately starting to rear its ugly head again in America.
Yeah.
Something that's never really stopped, but
yeah, it's difficult when a large group can just stereotype an entire race or religion, and I'm like, that's just ridiculous. Like, you have to have zero brain cells in your head to feel like every single Muslim follows the Quran to the T, like as if every Christian is following the Bible to the T. Like, I feel like we're all like a la carte religion. Like, we all pick and choose what we want to do. There's no way that 3.5 billion Muslims are terrorists. Come on. If that was the case, like, the earth would be blown up.
absolutely.
You know? Like,
Yeah, no, I get that. And yeah, I wondered how that affected you going into Afghanistan. I mean, traditionally Pakistan and Afghanistan have a rivalry, right?
it's like a double-edged sword, kind of like when the Taliban were really, really causing havoc over there. A lot of the Afghan people went over to Pakistan, but then because they were flooding Pakistan, then the Pakistani people that were in these communities started feeling kind of like, almost like, I guess, what some of the people here in Texas might feel about Mexicans. That they're like, oh, they're taking our jobs and they're this. Whether it's founded or not, that's how they felt, and it was creating issues between themselves. And I think that's also widely why Pakistan wasn't a huge key player in the war against terror in Afghanistan, is because they've got such a large population in Pakistan at the border that had they fought against Afghanistan, then those people might have created some havoc in Pakistan, and they did. There were some bombings and things like that in Pakistan during those times as well, because of that, because of our
Yeah,
because of support for us.
Yeah, and ultimately bin Laden was found in Pakistan, correct?
That's right. Yeah, just a little bit past the border. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was like Shower or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember the day. I was actually just thinking about the day that Osama bin Laden got killed. I was
We
thinking
were in Fort Sill, weren't we? Lawton.
Yeah, we were in Oklahoma, and for some reason, I couldn't tell you why, we just heard like hundreds of cop cars going down the road. There were sirens everywhere. We were trying to figure out what happened. We thought something bad happened. And I remember your cousin was watching The Apprentice. We were at your cousin's house.
Which is hilarious now because she absolutely hates the dude, but she loved that show.
As do I, but it was a decent show, I would say. But yeah, no, watching The Apprentice, and then all of a sudden it like went off breaking news, and it said something about Osama bin Laden being shot. But I was like, is that related to the police sirens?
It was.
It's like, damn, going crazy.
Everybody was excited, and so they were just sounding off. Yeah, it was very interesting, especially for my kids who didn't really grow up with.
I didn't know what the hell was going on.
Yeah, they didn't grow up with any military towns or anything like that. They didn't go until they were much older, and so for them to see that was just like, wow. And I think they were in Oklahoma when one of the spaceships blew up or something too, and it was like this, I don't know, it's been crazy. So
I don't remember.
but yeah, So let's get back to some of the questions. Oh, wait. She said, I'm still shocked Ghislaine Maxwell was invited to a 9/11 shadow commission.
Shadow.
I, I don't know what
I don't
she's
know what that is either.
saying there on a shadow commission, but I assume something that they were like advising as to why things happen is what I would assume a commission is. I don't know.
Sound off in the comments.
There's a lot of conspiracy theories about 9/11. A lot.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I don't have a solid thought process or a solid opinion on it. Oh.
She said it was in the Epstein emails. Okay, we'll have to look into that. Very interesting. Okay. Okay, so tell us about what you did there in Afghanistan, because it sounds like you were actually doing quite some interesting things with the media.
Yeah, so when I first got there, my job obviously was public affairs, media relation. And so we were mostly escorting media around, but also we were going on tons of missions and covering the story of the military trying to win the hearts and minds of the people.
Mhm.
So, we were on some combat missions, but also a lot of humanitarian missions. So it was fulfilling. I'm glad I'm glad I went. Actually, I could have gotten out of it. Some of my sergeants did hint that, given your religion, if you wanted to try to take a religious leave and not go, you could do that. And I said, nope, that I signed up. This is my duty. If I'm being ordered to go, then I'm gonna do that.
Mhm.
I'm not gonna like back out because I have an out.
Mhm.
So that's what, yeah, so that's why I went. But aside from that, there was times where I actually helped the local our service members just to get to know the people, because you forget that these people that are there helping us, they are also people. Like, you just see them as assets
Yeah.
or employees. And so they used to treat them quite bad. I mean, they were like giving them pork hot dogs to try to like send them to hell or something. And I'm like, listen, that first of all, no religion works like that. If you're going to be tricked to eating pork,
Yeah.
you're not going to get sin for it.
Yeah.
But then they were calling them names. And so I actually wrote a story approved by my team leader stating that, like, listen, the name calling and calling them like Haji and ragheads and all that, it's not good. Like, these people have like 5 degrees. A lot of them are doctors and engineers that just don't have any paperwork because the Taliban came in and destroyed all the colleges and all their records. And
Yeah.
obviously in 99, 2000, 2001, there was no like downloading to PDF and all that. So it was all paperwork. They
Mhm.
destroyed it all, so there's no record. So now these engineers and doctors are working for us as translators. Like, could you
Yeah.
imagine? Can you imagine being like top in your community to being like just a translator? Like, all you're doing is just,
Yeah.
So then I wrote this article, and the general found out about it and was like threatening to kick me out of the army. And I was like, look, this was all approved. Like, my team leader and my captain wanted me to write this so that we can help change the minds of our people, of our own people, our service members, so that they can treat these locals correctly.
Yeah.
So I said, and nothing was wrong in it. It was never that article was never published outside of the Post. It was just for like Post pamphlet type thing,
Yeah.
and it never did release out. I don't even have a copy of it.
Mhm.
But these kind of things, and I helped rebuild a mosque in Kandahar. I was there, and there was a mosque that the Taliban went into, and it was all shot up and they had holes and missing ceiling and all that. And they said that no soldiers were allowed in there, but then they made an exception for me so that I could go and document it and help some of the Army Corps of Engineers come up with a game plan to fix it.
Awesome that you were able to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, I can only imagine. Did you get a lot of pushback from the people serving with you when you did stuff like that?
My immediate team, they were very supportive when we were there. They actually let me grow my hair out. It was a little bit longer than I have it now, which is definitely not Army reg.
Oh, wow.
I also had a beard, which is, I mean, it was a good sized beard, and they basically gave me a shaving profile, which I do need, but they wanted me to be more easily approachable by the locals.
Mhm.
And so, but yeah, so that's
Good.
what.
Yeah, I've known people who have actually been assigned to go in there and be locals.
Yeah.
So for years. So yeah, I know it's a precarious situation when you're part of that culture as well. I can only imagine. Did you ever feel like you were betraying anybody or anything?
No, because I think like although although we were in Afghanistan as a war on terror, when you have an operation of that scale, there's different legs of it. So there's
Mhm.
one where it's like, you've got your like SEAL Team 6 and your special forces, and all these guys are obviously they've got their mission, and it's very dangerous. But then you've got like psyops, where they're doing a lot of humanitarian stuff, military intelligence, where they're trying to help psyops and win the hearts and minds, or change people's, or inform them, get intel from these people. But then people like me, where our job mainly was to share what's going on.
Mhm.
So I felt like we were able to be on the good side of that coin.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's operations going in there, and there, it's very surgical strikes. We weren't those guys.
Mhm.
So,
Okay, so since you are from a different culture originally, and you've also put yourself out there, what can you tell us about the world today that that general excuse me, that general area of the world today that a lot of people misunderstand?
well, I mean, I'm going to start with saying that I absolutely love America, and it is the best country in the world by far, hands down. But the problem we have right now is that I feel like we're being misinformed a lot.
Mhm.
And the problem with that is that it creates turmoil within our country, but that's exactly what they want. They want turmoil because if we're fighting each other, then we're not fighting them. We're not realizing that they're pulling the wool over our eyes, and they're taking money out of our pockets.
Mhm.
And we keep referring to Iran as like a terrorist state. We keep referring to like Lebanon and Syria and all these countries as terrorist states. But how did they become that way? They didn't just like wake up and all of a sudden start like storming Galveston, Texas beaches, We were there, us going there and causing issues, or expecting them to live the way we live, or expecting them to operate the way we operate, is what caused them to fight back.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, in Iran 50 years ago, the British came in and they stole all the oil, and they basically gave 40% of the oil to the company that's now called BP. Could you imagine if a foreign country came to Texas and said 40% of your oil belongs to us for free? Like,
Mhm.
we would be up in arms.
Yeah, I've always not liked the wars, and even though I decided to join the army myself and knew that that was a possibility, but then also I'm a woman, so, um, but it just seems like we're always going and destroying nations and then never having anything for our own people to.
We're fighting other people's wars and not taking care of a lot of the stuff that's happening at home. Even like, what about like all the homeless veterans and stuff? The people that went out and they
Mhm.
fought for the country, and now they're being neglected here while we send billions of dollars to Israel so that they can get taken care of. But what are we doing to the people that have served our community, our country?
Well, yeah, and I mean, just even the VA system itself,
Oh, it's gotten so much worse within the last, year or two. And I'm not even, I just see it with you and, other people I'm close to that are having to partake in all of that. It's
They've
a
even
mess.
they've even pulled back on the mental health appointments that, we're supposed to get. It was like every other week or something like that. Now it's once a month.
Yeah.
And
Some people need that.
yeah. Yeah, they really do.
And I mean, in all fairness, we do have to realize that American VA does take care of American service members more and better than any other nation in the world.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we do have so much pride in our nation that we do expect more from them.
Yeah.
And I think the reason we're disappointed is that, even 1 billion could resolve so many of our problems, but we sent $370 billion to Israel in the last 2 years. I'm just baffled that how is that America first? And that's really my only concern. Like I've got tons of Jewish friends, so it's not like a religious thing. It's
No.
it's a national foreign policy thing. Like it's about our foreign policy. Like it just doesn't make any sense to me.
And
But
humanity.
yeah, and humanity exactly. Like we're ready to like just destroy an entire race of people for our own gain. And you know, they're making the hard calls, so I don't know what all the government knows that we don't know. But I
Sure.
have a feeling like if we're educated people, we're not stupid. I have a feeling that it's like rob Peter to pay Paul. Like we're in trillion dollars of debt, right? How do you
Mhm.
get out of that if we have no industry? We don't manufacture anything. We don't sell anything. All we do is buy.
Yep.
And in the past, all the oil in the world was traded on the US dollar, but that changed like 5 years back when they
Yeah.
started selling oil in rubles and yen and all that.
Mhm.
So now our currency value drops. If it's not backed by gold and silver, then it's not backed by oil. So then now you're like, okay, now we got to do something. So what's the best way to do it? Go steal all of Venezuela's oil, go steal all of Iran's oil, mix the two oils together and sell the byproduct. And
Mhm.
that's what we're going to do. And that's what we did in Iraq. Iraq was 100% all the oil was owned by the country and by the people. And that's why these nations are so filthy rich is because they don't just keep the oil money for themselves. They
Mhm.
give it back to the people and they give them a free living.
Mhm.
Like people in Dubai, they're not paying income tax and property tax, and they're exempt from all that because their oil supports them.
Mhm.
Mhm.
We don't have that in America. We let go of our industries like 60, 70 years ago to avoid taxes. Like we
Yeah.
taught the Chinese how to manufacture. Like had we not given the corporate world the opportunity to take their manufacturing to China and then teach China how to manufacture, and China was like, no, no worries, we'll take it and run with it.
Mhm.
We
Yeah.
just cut our own feet off, right? And that's what we need to do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
my family owns an oil well, and my dad paid taxes on it his entire life. As soon as he started paying taxes on it, I don't know what happened to it. Nobody knows anything about it. I've got to get a lawyer to actually figure it out.
That
But
would be smart.
yeah, but supposedly there's a bunch of stuff. But anyways, no, I mean, it's like we do have large oil reserves here in the US, and we're not tapping into them. And that's a whole nother conversation, and it's like, but then we're going and destroying other countries for oil that we could have from our own country. That's what it seems like to me anyways. I don't know. I don't know anything.
Well, it's also more expensive for us to drill and process our own oil.
Yeah.
I think it's probably cheaper, but I mean, that's what it is. What's better than free, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, but it's not free.
It's not free. It costs us the lives of our service members. And that's why I'm like, why are we going to war? Like if we didn't send $370 billion to another nation and then like another 40 something billion dollars to Ukraine, then like, I mean, why did we do that? Just because we wanted to spite Russia?
Yeah,
Like,
and one of the reasons why I supported Trump his first go round was because he was all about no wars, and he really didn't do anything. I mean, there were a couple of bombings or whatever, but it wasn't like war, right?
yeah.
And so I thought maybe this go around we would see the same thing, but no, it's more of a bull in a china shop just trying to collect as much as he can before he goes out of office.
He's been pretty proven over his entire life to always look out for him and his own best interest. And I don't know if some people have some dirt on him or what, but
well, I'm sure he has money wrapped up in some of this as well, just like everybody else that's in Congress and the government, anywhere.
It feels like we're on a sinking ship, and everybody's like, grab what you can, and we got to get out of here. And that's what these politicians are doing. They're just it's just a gigantic money grab. It seems like I'm shocked that we're not prosecuting people for the stuff that they're doing. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like this Pam Bondi thing, like they just what is it? No, sorry, Christy Knowles. They just fired her for like spending like $100 million on like some horseback ad. Or I mean, like she should be in jail for that. That is embezzling.
Yeah.
And she
Like
barely
that-
even got fired. She more so got demoted. I think she's still going to be able to work within the government. And it's
Oh,
like,
really?
we're just letting this puppy killer do this shit. Like, you know what I mean?
But definitely they've got dirt on our politicians, right? That's why we're giving we give at minimum like $3.5 billion to Israel, and then they funnel back like 100 million to our politicians. So then our politicians are like, of course they're going to follow what puts food on their table, right? What puts money in their pocket. Being a politician is not what it's cut out to be anymore, right? Like, what do they make? Like $300,000 each. That's chump change compared to what they're getting from APAC. They're getting, at minimum, the cheapest guy is getting $900,000 a year to like support them. And I'm like, a foreign nation is like paying our politicians to vote for the best interest of their nation over ours. Is just like, I didn't think America would ever get to that. That's why we left Pakistan, because that's what was going on over there.
Yeah, actually, my son started bringing that up today. He's like, "What's your show about today, Mom? It's not about Gypsy Rose again, is it?" I was like, "No," and I told him. He's like, "Oh," he's like, "You need to watch this video." And
Don't watch my videos. You'll also get banned, like I got banned off of TikTok.
Was it about he was telling me about some video he was making me watch. Was it something about how like Christian preachers kind of try and pretend like Israel is I
well,
can't
yeah, well, they basically act like, okay, we bring Israel back to Israel, and then Jesus comes back.
They're pretty much trying to force the hand of the prophecies in the Bible.
I'm sorry, but that's not the way it works.
No, it's not. And
that's not the way it works. That's not how the Bible says it.
Yeah.
It's just, it's mind-boggling to me that like they're like, hey, listen, the crew that took out Jesus, that's who we're going to support now.
I know, and that's what came to my head. I'm like, okay, Amber.
But they pay them. No, but they pay them. I found a list of like all these churches in Texas that are receiving money from APAC or Israel, and they're flying these priests and pastors to Israel to like get them training. And I'm just like shocked. I'm like, how can you sell your people out? Like, how do you sell your entire church congregation out like that? Like, that's crazy. Like, you're going to hell. Like, your main job is to show people a path to heaven, and you're accepting money and bribes. Like, you're not going anywhere but hell. I'm sorry to tell you.
No, and God is love. Straight up, God is love. That's what the Bible says.
I mean, what's the 10 commandments? Like, love thy neighbor. It doesn't say love thy neighbor only if your neighbor is exactly like you, same religion, same skin color, same everything. Love everyone as a whole. Like,
As
Jesus was known for that, right? Like, I mean, it's not common. I guess it is common knowledge now, but like Jesus is the most mentioned prophet in the Quran.
Yeah.
So obviously you got to split up the Christians and the Muslims. You can't have them being friends. It's almost the same religion. Very minimal differences.
Yeah, well, I mean, Israel, Jewish, Muslim, and Christian all have the Abrahamic faith, So, I mean, we have a lot more in common than we have not in common.
We just have different ways in which we
express
it and revere or worship our God. I'm not particularly religious, and it's mostly just because I've gotten a lot of the ick from a lot of Christians within the last several years. Not from my parents. I think they're very kind, very good people, but I mean, I don't think I have to explain to you the way that the world's working right now, but I definitely believe in the Abrahamic God, which is more of like an umbrella than anything else.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's definitely very arrogant of us to think that we're the only people in the entire universe that God created. Like God, there's like an infinite number of planets out there, but God was like, listen, I'm only gonna create this. But then even then, is God so stupid that he said, oh, out of all these people, only one group can go to heaven. So like, does that mean all the cavemen went to hell?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a lot of argument for that, and I've seen a lot, and honestly, at the end of the day, I just know that God knows better than me, and God will sort it out in the end, and I just have to do my part to love and try to make the world a better place than I found it.
Do what feels right to you, what you feel like your moral and religious convictions are, and the rest will fall into place. But I just cannot stand people that try and dictate other people's rights based on what they believe or don't believe.
Yeah.
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 Yeah,
I mean,
and
I think the key thing is out of religion is just get what you want out of religion. Just like I got what I wanted out of the military and my deployment in Afghanistan. Just get what you want. Pick up the morals and the values from religion because that's the main goal of religion is to teach you to be a good person. So as long as you're a good person, I feel like you're gonna go to heaven or wherever you think wherever afterlife is. So
yeah, freedom of religion, folks.
Yes,
As
freedom of
Joyce says.
religion and freedom to not choose religion. And
Yeah.
Pursuit of happiness, right? What makes you happy that doesn't hurt others is what you should do.
I think I'm very scared by the rise of Christian nationalism. Again, not the rise of just Christianity, because I agree with you. There's a lot of good things that you can pull from religion, a lot of moral teachings there. But, if we end up being like a religious state, where everything's
Just
dictated.
like Iran.
Yep, we're going to be no different. And, all it takes is one extremist to get into power to start deciding how things are going to go. And it's just as dangerous for, a Christian state potentially as it is for, an Islamic state or any kind of other thing. Because again,
Because I wouldn't want anybody like
extremists.
Joel Olstein being like the moral compass for our freaking country.
No. What's his face? Trump had dinner. He had Thanksgiving with Kenneth Copeland.
He did?
Yeah, I don't know if it was this year or the year before that. Yeah, like these are all psycho these are psycho people.
I mean, you know what they say, too much of anything is bad. So if you've got too much religion, it's probably not good. Like fundamentalists are extremists by nature. Like, is that who you want to be associated with? Extremists of any religion or culture or group?
Yeah, definitely not. Most definitely not.
No.
So, yeah, I mean, yeah, there's a lot of shadiness in everything, and you have to discern what's right for you and discern what's best practices. But this world is getting, I mean, it's been crazy, and every generation probably thinks this is, the time when the world is going to end,
Imagine how they felt.
It feels that way. It definitely feels that way.
Yeah, I can't even imagine how they felt during the Holocaust and World War II. I mean, I just can't even imagine.
Well, we're seeing another genocide take place, but instead of the people that were being targeted last time, they're now being the perpetrators of the abuse. Not Jews in general, just that.
The nation. It's Israel. It's a country. It's like it's a non-living thing. That's what's causing all these problems.
Well, and that's the thing, and you brought it up earlier, Jesus, his main gripe was with, his own community. And then for us as Christians to then just latch on to everything Israel without any discernment or without any, checks and balances. I mean, it's just ridiculous. And it flies in the face of everything that we know.
Man, I cannot stand Tucker Carlson, but I watched part of his interview with Mike Huckabee and also with Ted Cruz also.
Yes.
The way that they're just like, well, bless Israel and we'll be blessed, which actually I don't even think is verbatim in the Bible. I think it's a little different.
It's more in the Old Testament.
Which the Old Testament
I don't think they were talking about the country created like in the last 30 or 50 years or whatever,
I don't even think that Netanyahu is particularly religious. I was like listening to something someone was saying about him, and he's not even super religious, and his ancestry is from Poland. He's not even supposed to, or not.
Well, his name isn't even Netanyahu. So
really?
That's not his real name. Benjamin Netanyahu is not his real name. It's like some Polish sounding name. He changed it to sound more Jewish so that he could like climb to power.
Good gravy. Yeah. And these are the same people who let what's his name? Maxwell. Robert Maxwell be buried on the Mount of Olives. So yeah. That flies in the face of everything that I
just think that what's happening in the Middle East now has the potential to be very dangerous, and Iran proved it, and that's why I just made a recent short video that I uploaded that there's 4 nations that are claiming that over 500 U.S. service members lost their lives in these recent attacks, which makes a lot of sense because I don't think anybody thought that Iran was going to target U.S. military bases in other Middle Eastern countries, and that's exactly what they did, which makes sense because Israel was piggybacking off of American satellites and radars that are hosted in these foreign countries, these Middle Eastern countries. So that's why they shot rockets at Dubai and Qatar and Saudi Arabia, because we have bases there.
That's crazy. I'm going to put your link in the description real quick.
Oh yeah, they're asking for it over there.
Oh no. Just be warned, guys. I just say whatever I want.
Well, I think
I love America, even though it might not sound like it. I feel like you should be able to criticize any man-made anything, any man-made institution. It's flawed by nature because it's man-made.
I agree with that. Okay.
There we go.
Copy. Yes, I agree with that, Zia.
Yeah. And I'm just worried because, we know that Israel has anywhere between 75 to 1,000 nukes. And it can be very dangerous. Like if they find themselves on the losing end, I feel like they would use them. And I don't think that any other country would. And, Iran has been 2 weeks from making nukes for the last, 30 years.
Yeah, at least. I mean,
how long is 2 weeks? I thought it was just 2 weeks. I didn't know it was 30 years.
Yeah.
Oops. Very, very scary stuff that's going on. And I find the fact that I know this happened, God, probably almost a year ago now, but the fact that our own president was posting videos of the golden statue of him and clearing out the Gaza Strip and turning it into I don't even remember.
Yeah, the Nebuchadnezzar, golden statue.
The exact thing that the Bible tells you not to do.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
And 3 guys got thrown into a furnace because of it.
They're like, we're going to create this. There's this awesome piece of real estate. It just sucks that these pesky Muslims. Are you fucking kidding me? I'm sorry. It's ridiculous.
Okay. Kung Fu Panda says, why is there money for war and not for things that improve the lives of tax-paying citizens? Exactly.
That's our only industry. We don't have any other industry. Mm-hmm. Anytime there's been a minor recession or a depression, we've gone to war. And that solved everything because it employs all the men back in the day, right? It was mostly men that served. So now such a huge percentage of men are going off to war, which provides for their home, their houses back home. And the women that are there are going to join in on creating the weapons that we need for war. Yeah. There you go. Problem solved.
Yeah, unfortunately. Unfortunately. And I find it highly disturbing that so many Christian people who talk about love and not murdering people and all
Mhm.
of that stuff are very eager to go to war at the drop of a hat. And
Eager to go to war. They're loving what's happening with the misuse of of power with ICE and stuff here. Which I'm not saying that there's not any conversation to be had about legal and versus illegal immigration, but
yeah,
the way things are going down is not okay at all. And people are just like they're cheering on people getting murdered by like police
Yeah.
officers and stuff. It's insane. Like I see it in real life, like people talking about it. I'm like terrified. You know what I
I
mean?
mean, I have Hispanic friends. I mean, I live in Texas, right? I have Hispanic friends that support ICE, and I'm like, that's the craziest thing I've ever heard. Like, I'm more appalled at how ICE is treating Hispanic people just off of appearance
Mhm.
and the way they sound. I mean, listen, if ICE was established, when I was 7, they would have probably deported me because I could barely speak any English.
Absolutely. No,
Even though I was in the process legally, like I came here legally. But back then it wouldn't have happened then to me. I would have been gone.
and the
mhm,
way that the legal process has developed over the years, it's made things just so much more difficult to even be coming over here legally.
Mhm.
You know, it's you have to jump through 1,000 hoops and boost the economy. Yeah, fair.
I'm not I used to be one party. I used to be a Republican, and I'm still registered as a Republican, but I haven't voted in the last few elections because my stuff got messed up when I moved.
Mhm.
And I tried to go vote last time, but they didn't let me. So I got to get it fixed and everything. But I'm to the point now where I'm just going to probably put no party, which
Means you
unfortunately,
can't vote in the
yeah, which
primaries.
means I can't vote in the primaries. So it's like you're penalized if you're not part of one of the two parties. That
Mhm.
that frustrates me too.
Yeah, whenever I first initially registered as a independent or something like that when I was like 18, and then I realized I couldn't vote the primaries, and then I switched to one thing. Dad kind of he told me I should register as a Republican, and for some reason I did, and that completely goes against everything I now believe. But I switched it over like a year ago because it took me because I just never went in to like switch it, but then I switched it to Democrat because fuck that shit. So anyway.
Well, I think the problem we have is that we have extremists on both sides, on
Yeah.
both parties, and then it makes it worse because the extremists on one side are seeing the extremists on the other side.
Yeah.
They don't realize that there's so many of us in the middle.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
we're just tippy-toeing the line. Like, sometimes we're Republican, sometimes we're Democrat. It depends on the issue and
Exactly.
the topic and the concern, right? So,
Yeah, and then so basically you have to be registered as one of them in order to even have a say,
Mhm.
because
yeah.
if you register as an independent, you don't even have a say in the beginning. So it's like,
And I'm getting really scared about the next election cycle because people are starting to say they think it's going to be JD Vance versus Gavin Newsom, and I really don't want to have to vote for Gavin Newsom, but I'm not voting for Couchman over there
I don't want to
either.
vote for
So
either one of them.
Well,
my hand,
my 5-year-old says that she wants to be president, so you can write her name in.
Hey, I did.
There we
I
go.
wanted to too at one point
No.
when I was a kid. Yeah, I did.
Oh, I thought you were going to talk about how you thought about writing in Teddy Ruxpin,
Oh, yeah, I thought
which
about
is
writing in Teddy Ruxpin
no
once.
better than when all those people voted for Harambe.
I know, I
I
know, but it was my,
fuck you to the
yeah,
system.
yeah.
Yeah, all those fuck yous to the system is how we got Trump. So.
I know. Okay, well, it's time to wind down. Zia has a busy life with a busy family. And we didn't even mention that Zia, upon complicating his life further, he decided to marry an Indian woman who's Hindu.
Yeah, that's right. Our people should not get along, but you know what? I didn't choose love. Love chose me.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's how it is.
Mhm.
And for that, I applaud you just for the fact that you are not shy. You're not going to run away from what's hard.
Yeah, no, I mean, listen, I don't she could be of any religion, any country, and she could probably turn out to be a bad person. So why would I make that a factor in picking my life partner?
Yeah.
I would rather pick them off of their personality and friendliness and family values and all that stuff than,
Well, you make pretty children.
thank you. Thank you so much. They go after her, so we got lucky.
Well, thank you, Zia, for coming on and joining us. And thank you, everybody, for being here and supporting us in other content than just Gypsy Rose Blanchard. So I thank you very much for that. And I hope that everybody has a very blessed week and that you go out there and do something good to change the world for the better. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone. Have a good night.
Take care.
Life is like a duck. Tough times don't last, but tough people do. Here at Military Broadcast Radio, we're teaming up with our friends at Die Tired, the veteran-friendly music band spreading strength, resilience, and mental health awareness one shirt at a time.
And check this out. Their brand new shirts feature broadcast beaker right on the breast pocket. A reminder that you can weather the storm, and you're never alone.
Shirts are only $25, and proceeds support giving veterans a voice. MBR's mission to teach veterans how to podcast and videocast. Because when our vets are talking, they're not overthinking. They're not second-guessing. Together, we stop the 22 stigma. Grab your shirt today at mbradio.us and hit the shop. Or go directly to toramerch.printavo.com/merch/dietiredband. That's toramerch.printavo.com/merch/dietiredband.
Suit up, stand strong.
Remember, we're unduckable together.
You're built tougher than the storm.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to Military Broadcast Radio. As we wrap up today's show, we want to remind you that the podcast of today's episode will be available right after we go off the air. So if you missed any part of the show or want to listen again, be sure to check it out. And remember, we're here to support and honor our veterans. Your stories and experiences matter, and we are committed to giving you a platform to share them. That's right. We're here to give our veterans a voice. So don't forget to catch the podcast and stay connected with us. Giving our veterans a voice.